YSM.
YSM.
Okay, what is Rotaract? Well, Alex, Rotaract has like 9,535 clubs around the world. There is 178 countries involved in Rotaract. Rotaract is young professionals between 18, some are in university or post-secondary education, some are entering the workforce in their new professions. But basically they're the age between 18 and 30, and there's there's about 219,000 Rotaractors around the world participating in these types of programs. When and why did the trip happen? The trip happened March 20th till April 20th, 2013. 4 young professionals and myself as team leader set out as strangers. About 6 months earlier, we had done some prep and met up, and the team was picked, and away we went. But this is totally sponsored by the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation sponsors trips like this all around the world to bring the world together and make it a smaller place and exchange ideas from different countries. And even though the trips are 4 or 5 weeks, you'd be shocked to see how much you can accomplish in 4 or 5 weeks. You meet a lot of friends. You definitely meet a lot of friends. Okay, how much did you learn? How much did you learn while you were gone? You learn what Rotary does in other countries. I know what my club does here in District 7010, what they do in 3490, I don't know. It gives me a unique opportunity to see what they do in Rotary. I see they're very, very educational focused over there, and so a lot of their fundraising, a lot of their attention goes towards finding educational scholarships, and promoting education is on the top of the list for them. While we were there, we did vocational and cultural visits. I did some visits about heating and air conditioning, geothermal heat pumps. Luckily enough, we were able to do some cross vocational tours, so I did get to see some of the tours from Shannon, one of the team members. She does medical, so I got to go on a clinic visit with her. Alex, I did get to visit a beautiful health facility that was amazing. All right, and how did the trip impact you? Completely and totally changed my life. It changed how I work, my family, how I see the world. With work, I worked 13 hours every day, 5 days, 6 days a week. Well, I don't need to do that. I learned that I didn't take a phone. I didn't make one phone call for 5 weeks, and somehow my company survived. So for me, it totally changed how I function as a professional. The office does not need me. There's a manager in place. Things for me changed dramatically. I have been on the same course for 20 years, and now I don't see the need to be there for 12, 13 hours a day. And just taking that break really made me realize how much that was not necessary. So definitely the GSE trip changed and impacted that. And as far as my family goes, I was away for 5 weeks from my wife and my kids and my new grandchild. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I can tell you this much, that I saw how their families interact and how tight they were, and how important it was that they live, they work together. It is family over there is everything, and they're long-term planners. I mean, they think 30 years ahead with their family. They've come to Canada, send their children abroad for university, but long-term thinking. And that's what I started to do, is thinking a little bit more long-term instead of short-term. Okay, long-term, you know what, I should have saved that for this. Long-term view of the experience. You know what, I met a lot of new friends. Maybe 150 people that welcomed me in their homes. You know, I learned how small the world is. We take the world, and you know, we live in our little neighborhood, our little city, and our little group of friends. But the world is a very small place. I've been very fortunate in the past that I've actually got to do friendship exchange to India, and this trip to Taiwan also was home hosted. And you know, you'd think you want to stay in a hotel. You'll never learn about another country if you stay in a hotel. You want to stay in homes and do home hosting. You stay with their families. You meet their uncles, their cousins. You meet their children and how they interact day long. So my long-term view of the trip is really more about planning much further in the future, and I plan on doing that. You know, I'm actually heading back on another Rotary trip to the Rotary International Convention in Lisbon in a couple of months, and my plan is actually while I'm there, I'm going to meet up with my friends who I met in Taiwan. So I'll get to meet up with them in Portugal, and not just them. I'll also meet up with some friends who I met through different Rotary meetings that I've attended around the world, and I'm actually having a lunch with people from 4 different countries. One of the days I'm there, we're all meeting together in one spot for lunch, and they're from 4 different countries that I've met at different trips in different parts of the world. So I think that's really, really exciting.